I knew it wasn't the D2. It wasn't the D1. It's not the logo. It's not the coach. You got to put the work in. You got to believe. And if you don't believe, then you don't have a shot. There's somebody out there right now, as we speaking right now. He see a vision. You know what I mean? He see the grind. He see like, oh, I'm going to be in the league. And that's the kid that gonna make it.
Welcome to Athlete Country Club, the podcast built for parents, athletes, and competitors chasing the next level. I'm your host, Marcus McMarion, former Division I quarterback, now founder of Athlete Country Club. I started this show because, like many of you, I had to learn the recruiting process the hard way, traveling up and down the state, spending thousands trying to figure out what actually works. Each week, we break it down through two powerful segments. First, Coach Talk. This is where we sit down with college coaches, director of player personnel, recruiters to uncover exactly what they look for when offering scholarships. No fluff, just the truth from people making the decisions. Second, Athlete CEO. Here we go beyond the field, into habits, training, and mindset that build elite performance and long-term success. You'll hear from strength coaches, nutritionists, sports psychologists, and former athletes who've turned their grind into greatness in business, leadership, and life. Because being an athlete isn't just about playing the game, it's about mastering it and building your legacy beyond it. So whether you're a parent trying to navigate recruiting or an athlete ready to level up, you're in the right place. Welcome to Athlete Country Club, where we turn potential into performance and performance into purpose. What's good, everybody? Welcome to Athlete Country Club. I'm your host, Marcus McMarion. Today's guest is someone whose story represents, just resilience, reinvention, and legacy. And from being drafted into the NFL by the Houston Texans to his transition into coaching to now stepping into his first year as a collegiate coach at the University of Idaho, Treston's had just lived the full spectrum, honestly, of the athlete journey. And his path is one young athletes need to hear, not just because of the highs, but because of the wisdom gained from just the battles and everything in between. TD, welcome to Athlete Country Club, brother.
Man, I appreciate you, Marcus, man. I appreciate y'all for having me, man.
Yeah, no, 100%. Obviously, we kind of go back to being teammates at Oregon State, and you kind of had that transition from JUCO to Oregon State and then playing in the league and kind of where you are now. But I think it all kind of starts with just everyone's like origin story. Like the roots, like the environment, the exposure. Early influences who kind of shaped who you became. And I think like people are driven by different things, and like some grow up motivated by like inspiration, or others by fear. And when you kind of look back at your environment growing up, which one fueled you more and why?
Man, I say football was everything for me, man, and it still is. It was never nothing else. It was never a plan B, plan C. It was never none of those. You know what I mean? Where I'm from in Louisiana, man, there's not too many ways to make it out. And the ways that other people was making out, I didn't want to be, or the way other people was doing, their lifestyle, I didn't want to do, even in my family, So it was just like, I always grew up watching football. It was a man named Billy Ray that put the Cowboys in front of me, And then ever since I seen the Cowboys, I grew up a football fan, And then once I kind of grew up and coming in middle school and junior high, like I didn't even play football, until I got to junior high. I didn't play Pee Wee. I didn't play none of those sports, I was a bad kid at that time, So, but I still wanted to play sports, I still wanted to play football. And then once I started playing football, it was made up in my mind. I remember walking to practice from when I was at Hammond, after Katrina. My mama moved to Hammond, Louisiana. And like, I remember having to walk to Hammond High. That was like 3, 4, 5 miles, my freshman year, just to get to like a summer workout. But I made it in my mind, like, football gonna change my life, and I know it is, and I put everything in it. So it was always football, man. Like it was nothing else for me. Nobody in my family was pursuing football or doing sports at that time. So it was just, I wanted to be different from everybody in the neighborhood, and I knew it was a way that I can take care of my family. So
yeah, and it's such interesting. I feel like I've met so many guys along like my collegiate journey and kind of short-lived, in the CFL and NFL. I was there for a little bit, not as long as you get my name called in draft day and all that stuff. But no, I think it's just so interesting as far as just, the people who really made it, and this could be a long shot, but I would say probably about 95% of people I've met, it was plan A, B, C, D, E. Like there wasn't a plan. There was like, that was the plan. Kind of talk about that and how difficult it is to compete with a TD when, hey, you might be thinking, oh, I have plan B, C, D, E, F, G if this doesn't work out. And all you have, this is my only option. Talk about that competitiveness there.
What's crazy about it, I tell my kids that, you know what I mean? It's like, what is your, everybody got a why, right? But your why gotta be so big that you dedicate everything to your football. Like, it can't be, well, if this don't make it, I'm gonna go do that. You already lost because there's a million other kids that ain't thinking that, right? They gonna do everything. They gonna walk that to school. They gonna do whatever they gotta do to make it. They might have a shoe on that's 11, size 11 on the left foot, size 12 on the other side. They don't have the resources you got. You over there living good. Oh, well, your mama said you can do this. You got a little money in, so they put it in the back of your head. Well, get your degree, which everybody get your degree. But they also saying, get your degree and go do and see what else out there. See, me, it wasn't even the degree at the time. You know what I mean? I knew I can come back and get a degree, right? But I have to put everything into it. I have to put everything, every time, every effort, everything. But because I won't make it. Because there's a million kids out there that's putting the time in. They only way out the hood or whatever situation they is football. And if your mindset ain't like, man, I'm gonna give everything I have to make it. Like, I don't care what nobody say. I believe in myself. I don't care what no critics. I don't care if nobody else. My mama don't have to believe in. My daddy don't have to believe in. And I was that kid. Like, I don't care what nobody say. I don't care if you don't see the dream, because nobody else gonna see it, right? No one's seen your path. No one's gonna see it, but you gotta see it, and you gotta keep building. Man, I went to 4 different universities just to go there. You know what I mean? Because I knew it wasn't the D2. It wasn't the D1. It's not the logo. It's not the coach. It's me. It's you. You got to put the work in. You got to believe. And if you don't believe, then you don't have a shot. And if you don't put every effort in to go, you don't. Because I promise there's somebody out there that will. There's somebody out there right now, as we speaking right now, the day before Christmas. He don't got nothing under the Christmas tree. They don't even have a Christmas tree. But he see a vision. You know what I mean? He see the grind. He see like, oh, I'm going to be in the league. And that's the kid that going to make it.
Yeah, no, and I feel like we live in such like a instant gratification world where it's like I need it now. Whereas obviously, kind of all the prizes and everything you're after comes at that delayed gratification. And just in your story specifically, like I was fortunate to where I did have a couple scholarship offers out of high school, and I went straight to a 4-year college. But I kind of prefaced that to say some of the most explosive players and impactful players that I played with in college came from a junior college. And I think they just play with such a different intensity level because, like you said, it's in a sense the guys who are going to 4 years right away, they might feel a little sense of entitlement when they get there. Like, hey, I'm a 4-year guy, whereas a guy who goes to a junior college, they're going to play with a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder. And I mean, like, how did the JUCO experience kind of shape you?
Yeah, and like you said, like when you go, I guess when you first go to, you might be a 3-star son, right? So you go to the university, getting all the gear, they make you feel good, respectfully they supposed to, right? But when you go to a junior college, you got like when I went to, and it was Mississippi, like that's SEC ball, that's SEC country, right? Your first day there, and then I walked on to the JUCO, you know what I mean? And my first day, like it's 100 kids out there, it's 20 corners. You know what I mean? You got bounce back, bounce back, bounce back, bounce back. Yeah, you like, man, well, they on scholarship. Like, how I'm gonna beat that? You know what I mean? That's what That's what, as the human, that's what you are gonna ask yourself. But see, I don't ask myself that because I don't doubt myself. I knew that day one, like, I don't care who you is, I don't care what you got going on. I'm colder than you. I'm better than you. I just got to show it. I just need the opportunity, right? So I think the JUCO mentality, it humbles you, and it just put the grit and the want to get better, right? Because you're gonna see all your homeboys get out. You know what I mean? You might see a couple bounce backs that's cold and they get out, right? So it teach you how to be humble. It teach you how to appreciate football, appreciate what you have, because at the end of the day, it's a gift. You know what I mean? Everybody don't have the gift. Everybody don't have the pleasure or the opportunity to play college football or even JUCO ball. So it makes you appreciate what you have, bro. You know what I mean? It makes you understand, like, this is a business. Like, I can't mess up, because at the end of the day, JUCO is your last step. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the last what they say, last chance you. That's your last chance. So if you mess up there, ain't no going back from there, right? So it teach you how to be more mature. You grow you up. Because Mississippi, they got, man, they rules are crazy. Like they got rules on campus. You know what I mean? Like it's basically used to be like a jail. They used to say, you know what I mean? Just you just free a little bit, right? You know what I mean? You can't have people in your dorms. You can't. So, but it teach you how to be mature. It teach you how to handle business. So I think the JUCO route is a great route. Like even now that while I'm at Idaho coaching, like I recruit JUCO heavy. You know what I mean? Because those kids want it more, and you get a different type of kid than going in the portal and getting a kid who probably been up. You know what I mean? And moving down. Why you up and moving down? You know that's a little different right there. Or you might get a kid at the same level, or might be trying to go to a better school. You know, you look in those situations, but those JUCO kids are different. You know what I mean? They want it a little more and they appreciate it a little more. You know what I mean? So I think that's the mindset over there for the kids in that area.
Yeah, for sure. And I think every athlete, like on their journey, you kind of have like an aha moment, or like maybe like this is possible. Like for me personally, I remember going to like an NFTC, like a Nike camp out in Southern California, like in Los Angeles. And I remember being out there, and you could kind of figure out, and I'm sure it's the same thing at camps, like everyone kind of knows who the 3, 4-star, 5-star kids are, because they kind of got a little posse following around them, or
Right.
cameras,
Yeah.
reporters, you kind of know, right? So my
Coaches
big
know
thing
for
that I
sure.
was always doing, yeah, exactly. And the coaches know. So like my big thing when I would go to camps, or big mega camps, or college camps, or Nike camps, I would find that quarterback and I would go right behind him. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna make a throw, I'm gonna do it right after you. And I'm a nobody. I'm this skinny, like 170-pound quarterback
Right.
from a
Yeah.
small school, it's like, and I'm going pound for pound with this dude. Like, hey, you make a throw, I'm gonna make the same throw. You do this, I'm gonna do it right after, to where I think that was something that was almost like, it wasn't immediate, like where I started getting offers right away. But for me personally, I feel like that's where my confidence exploded. And I was like, you know what, I could do this. Like he's good and he's getting the recognition right now, but I'm not that far
Yeah.
off where I could
Yeah.
actually do this. Like for
Build
you,
that confidence.
whether that was in college or the NFL, like when did the NFL go from like possible to like I could really do this?
Man, be honest. So I never forget this. So like, I used to always tell people like, man, I'm going to league. Like, and this is like high school, whatever. Even when I had bad grades, like, oh, I'm going to league. You know what I mean? Even when I went to Chadron State, but I will never forget. His name was Coach Jersey, Craig Jersey. The first coach that ever recruited me, he was at Chadron State, a D2. Man, he drove down from Nebraska, Chadron, Nebraska, to Louisiana. Hammond, Louisiana was at the time, and he came. We was in a trailer, man. He came. He pulled up in his caravan, and I told everybody I had a coach coming, but I told everybody it was coming from Nebraska. I ain't say where, I just said Nebraska. You know what I mean? I ain't tell them where. You feel what I'm saying? But he came in, man, and in 10 minutes, that man brought lit a fire in me that it was already lit, but he lit it way more than it ever was ignited before. And he basically all he said, man, he was like, I know all these people passed on you, it's probably your fault with your grades and all that, but he was like, you're an NFL talent, and I can get you there. And when he told me that, Marcus, you couldn't tell me nothing no more. That day, I knew I could make it. That day, I knew I had opportunity. You know what I mean? And at the time, and I'm gonna be all the way 100. I didn't understand Division Two, Division Three, Division One. You know what I mean? I knew it wasn't LSU. You know what I mean, or something like that.
Yeah.
But like that's the only thing I did. I knew about it. You know what I mean? I didn't even know JUCO then. So to answer that question, man, it'll probably be that conversation. But like athletically wise, bro, I would say probably when I was in JUCO. You know what I mean? When I was in JUCO, it was some guys, bro. You know what I mean? It was some guys I was playing, and I ain't never played that type of talent yet. You know what I mean? And some of them went SEC. You know what I mean? And I went to Old Oregon State, and I'm like, hey, I was locking buddy up. Like he was, you know what I mean? He wasn't like that. Then I see one of them get drafted. I'm like, oh yeah, my time coming. You know what I mean? So it's just over time. I just say Coach Jersey, and just once I got in JUCO and caught my swag, you know what I mean, and seen other guys actually make it that I was holding, then I was like, oh yeah, I got a chance for sure.
Yeah, no, and it's interesting to kind of see that too, because I remember our time at Oregon State. I feel like you always played like I always noticed like TD has a certain swagger about him and like confidence in himself. You don't, especially as a quarterback, you don't see that in every corner. Like you could see like, hey, I could get after this dude, And if I
Right.
get him a couple times, like he's gonna put his head
Yeah.
down and
Matter of
he's
fact.
mine all game, and I got him.
Yeah.
Versus like I know like you, something would happen with you. Maybe we made a play on you, something
Right.
happened. Like we're like, oh no, he's good, bro. He pick his
Yeah.
head back up,
Yeah.
and it's time to go. Like it was a mishap, something happened, and I think just that was cool is when during our time at Oregon State, we could talk about it now because we're
Yep.
not playing anymore, but we did have our fair share of
Right.
runs on the basketball court, so we were
Right.
running games, doing stuff, and I always tell people it's interesting. We'd get basketball or the football players, we'd go out there and we'd run the gym, right? I mean, we'd run
Right.
everyone off the court. Normal people would be in there, be like, get off the court, like, because we'd beat them and they're gone, right?
Right.
But then I was always blown away where we'd get the eighth man off the bench at Oregon State for the basketball team, and they were just getting buckets at will, bro. Like whenever they wanted to score, bro. And I'm like, bro, there's levels to
It's
this. Like,
levels.
and
It's
yeah,
levels.
there's levels.
It's
And
levels.
kind of explain, like, obviously you were entrenched in the NFL. Like, what was kind of some of those aha moments for you, or like what's something the world doesn't see about the NFL life?
Man, I say, man, them practices. Like, you think the Sundays highlights are crazy? Man, what you think happened on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Like highlight plays, right? So you just see why guys are there, right? Like I remember just like going against D Hop every day. So my rookie year, as a rookie, they made me. I was the only rookie corner drafted, so they made me every practice made me follow him. Right, every when we're on scout team, when I'm playing the receiver, whoever if we playing Jalen Ramsey, the Jaguars that week, I'm Jalen Ramsey. So I gotta go everywhere and I gotta play his technique, right? And just to see how he like he wasn't the fastest. He was just crafty. His hand placement, right? The way he ran his route, the steps that he's not counting his steps, but I'm counting, and you can see like he switched it up, right? So he changed the way everything he did, he changed it. You know what I mean? Every day, right? He working on different things, and that's the thing that I learned the most. Like, all right, I gotta do right. All right, I can't just peer step every play. Oh, I can't just inch. Let's mirror this time. Let's quick jam. Let's fake quick jam. Like, change it up because at the end of the day, they studying you. You know what I mean? So the wild moment is just every day, bro. You seeing people just like Mari Cooper catching crazy one hand catches, or Michael Gallup when I was the Cowboys going crazy. Then you see the guy like Tyrann Matthew. He just get there. We in the cover 3, right? And he read dagger, and he come off the clear out route and pick it off. You like, how you know that was gonna happen, right? Instincts, right? The wild, like, oh, that's why he's the honey badger. You know what I mean? Like, or you see JJ Watt and club somebody, and now he right there about Deshaun Watson. In 2 seconds, you're like, oh, okay, that's why he get paid all that, right? And then one of the crazy stories I always tell people, like my family, like, man, we were doing a pursuit drill, and bro, I ran 4.5, right? So I thought I was pretty fast, you know what I mean? But I know there's a lot of people faster than me, but I never thought it would be a DN that would be able to run with me, right? So we doing a pursuit drill, and I'm the backside corner, and Javion Clowney is the backside DN, right? When I say I'm running, and he like I look up, like, he on side of me, and I'm like, whoa! And I try to stress to give it more, and you can tell he just, and he's still in front of me. It's like, man, wow! Like these guys are really, those type of guys are really the ones that God made to play this game. You know what I mean? There's nothing I can do. There was nothing I can ever do to be that fast. Nothing I can ever do to be like that. But you know what I mean? They just those ones that you just be like, wow, those guys are elite, bro. You know what I mean? So just see those type of guys just every day, and just see how they work. You know what I mean? See how they prepare their body, prepare their mind every day. You know what I mean? One of the smartest football players I ever meet is Justin Reed for the Saints, the safety. He's so smart, and he was, as a rookie, he was smart, bro, and it was impressive. I was like, I wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. Like, but football runs in his family, so it's like he was prepared, and that's probably why he having the success and playing as longevity is. You know what I mean? Because you see those guys, and you always wonder like how they play these 8 to 10 years in the league, man, and you see why. You know what I mean? They take care of their body. You know what I mean? They take care of their mind. You know what I mean? They do the right things on and off the field. You know what I mean? So those would be the wild moments for me, just seeing those guys in and out every day. You know what I mean? It's not the game reps, it's not the highlights, man. It's the practice reps that the work they putting in and the wild moments you see there, you just be like, man, these people is elite for real.
Yeah, no, and I think you mentioned a good point too, as far as guys just being like aware of your own God given ability. Like we both know, like I don't know, an example, like a teammate like Victor Bolden. I could train my entire life and I'll never be as fast as Vic,
Nah,
like
yeah.
never, So it's like he's just built. He's smaller frame, he's quick twitch muscles, really fast dude. To where it's like even you at the defensive back position, it's like you have a long frame, you could cover a lot of ground. It's like a good man coverage, good zone coverage. You do a lot of things well, but we both don't have Victor Bolden type bodies, and that's just we
That's
don't
just
play
what it
that
is.
game.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
what
it is what
it
it is, and you kind of learn that, and kind of talk to those guys who are playing in the league for 8 to 10 years. I've always said that talent is your God given ability, and you're kind of just born with talent. But then there's a skill, and skill could be developed. Like what skills are veteran NFL guys developing to stay in the league for so long?
Man, it's really their mind. So like I learned this from Jonathan Joseph and Kareem Jackson, who played 12 plus years at the corner position, the DB position, which is, not that's not the norm. You know what I mean? And just watching those guys and it was crazy, man. Jonathan Joseph eat Taco Bell hamburgers, like it was, he just built different, right? Everybody built different, but he did take care of his body, right? But just to see, like, he always worked on his feet, right? And he always worked on his mind, right? He knew route concepts. He knew the game of football. So at his age, yeah, he probably can't move as fast or get out his break as quick as, right? So now I gotta beat you mentally. Now I gotta know where you going on second and third down, second and six. You know what I mean? Third and seven. Oh yeah, I'm sitting at these sticks or whatever you gotta do. You know what I mean? He learned how to adapt with his mind, right? And it didn't matter what he ate, he still took care of his body, right? And then Kareem was more of a physical type of guy, so he was more in the weight room watching where he eat type of stuff. But still, for him, mentally, he knew the game of football. He knew route concepts, right? The way he studied film, you know what I mean? Like, I think kids and even some coaches don't know how to study film. You know what I mean? Like it's what are you looking for? That's my I ask my kids, when you watch a film, what are you looking for? Are you just watching? Are you just watching one guy? Because at the end of the day, you're not playing that guy. You're playing the offensive coordinator up there. So first of all, you got to know what he like to do. What is his background? What do he want to do? And those guys know all that. They know who they playing. They know where the OC been. Where they know everything about the players. They know everything about the coaching staff. Right? The knowledge of the game. That's how you keep playing those years. Because you at 33, man, you ain't as fast as you were when you 23. You know what I mean? But you still making plays in the NFL at the highest level against guys that is 23 and at they top peak of athleticism. How are you making that? You know what I mean? I tell my kids all the time, like, when you get in this D1 level, I don't care, FCS, FBS, everybody's talented. So how do you make plays? How? Tell me how. And us as coaches, I think we just, you got to make that play. Well, teach them how. Teach them how. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I was taught how. You know what I mean? So my job is to teach you how. And that's why I try to do the best of my ability. And there's different ways to do it, right? Everybody don't learn the same. Everybody's not the same type of body. Everybody's not the same type of kid, right? So you got some quiet kids. You got some kids that was like me. You got some kids that wasn't. You know what I mean? So you got to learn how to relate to them, you know what I mean? And teach them how, the whys and the how, right? And I think those guys that I done seen, man, even the Byron Jones, man, like, they work ethic and the work ethic is not just like, I'm about to just go do some Instagram drills. Nah, it's what are you doing? Like, don't just be out there doing anything. Do stuff that's gonna translate to the game, to the coverages you playing, right? Gonna help you be successful as a football player. Movement, right? And just watching football. I tell my kids the best thing you can do to learn football is just watch it. Just watch it. Go write 10 corners down that you named that you think that's good, that people, these dudes are good, right? And just go watch them. Go watch how they play zone, cover 2, cover 3, man to man. Just go watch them, right? The more you watch, the more you gonna learn. You know what I mean? And they gotta understand that. You know what I mean? And that's what I preach heavily, man. It's all about learning the game, taking the knowledge that you learn from either YouTube, the game, from me, your peers, whoever teaching you, whoever's around you in your circle, and then apply it to your game. You know what I mean? We can always work on our game. It's just like a coach from our head coach always says, always something you can do. There's always something you can do, right? So you just gotta find it and don't just be out there doing BS. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, those last 3 minutes honestly might be one of the most like impactful words that were said on this podcast. And I'm not even like that. That's real to word. So everyone needs to like re-listen to that because it's so true. And I think the biggest message that kind of came out there that I was kind of hearing too is like you got drafted. You're a 5th-round draft pick. There's not a lot of people in the world that could say they got drafted to the professional NFL football league. But all I'm hearing is how you're taking in information from other people and applying it to your game, and kind of talk to how important that is for young athletes, not only from to learn from their position group, because you're a corner, but you were talking about safeties, you were talking about defensive ends, you were talking about receivers, learning from D-Hop. Talk about how being adaptable and learning from everyone, not just your coach and not just your teammate in the same position room, but how you could learn from everyone.
Man, at the end of the day, because all right, I play corner, right? But I need to know what the safety do. I need to know what the linebacker doing. I need to know what the D ends, the D tackles doing. I need to know what my help at. So I need to know what everybody doing. For me to make plays, I need to know what everybody doing because now I can play faster than his receiver is, right? Because he's thinking about his route. He's thinking about how he got my leverage and all this. So he got a list of things he thinking about too, a process that he got to go through. But if I can get through my process faster, I'm gonna make more plays, right? It's gonna help me, you know what I mean? So I always knew that I wasn't the fastest guy. Even when I was at Oregon State, I wasn't the fastest guy, but I had a dude named Corey Hall that taught me these things, right? And I apply these things to my kids. And this is why I tell people like why, and if I ever do interviews or anything, why Treston Decoud is because my experiences, and I take those experiences because they real life. I'm not just talking out my booty. No, I'm talking about real experiences that I've been through. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I done been cut so many times, but I also done made plays, and I done seen all these people make plays, and I ask a lot of questions. And I'm an observer. How do you make these plays? Like why you made that stuff, right? And even in coaching, it's the same thing. You have to learn from others. We don't know it all. I know I don't. I definitely don't know it all, but I want to know it all, right? I want to know the different type of terminology. Yes, football is the same thing. At the end of the day, this stuff been going on since what? Way past our time. It's football. A slant route, 2 slants. Yeah, we call it diesel, but somebody else is gonna call it something else. But it's still 2 slants. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's still the same scheme. It's still the same thing. You can just dress it up different type of ways. So it's like it's different terms, but them terms. You can use other people's terms to connect to your kid. Maybe the term I'm using ain't working, right? So like professional development, like I just went to New Mexico and learned from a guy named Stanley Franks, right? He taught me some other words, other ways to do it where we still doing the same thing, but it's a different way. It's a different message. It's a different term. Maybe peer step, or I can say peer. It's different, right? You're not saying that was what we was talking about, but just saying different type of terms or different type of way to say something maybe can connect to the kid is different, right? So, and that's where it's all about learning, right? You never will know it all, right? It is a million ways to skin a cat, you know what I mean? So you just got to use other ways, take it in to help you as a coach or as a player, right? To get better, right? Why wouldn't I want to go learn from a guy like Corey Raymer, a guy I look up to? Yeah, I ain't never met him before. He probably don't know I want to look up to him. But I seen him do this every year at LSU. Every year. What he doing, right? He been doing this since I was in high school, right? He been doing this every year. So, of course, I'm going to go watch his drills. Of course, I'm going to go see whatever I can because I don't know him. So I got to go find ways to pick and see his players, right? Because as a coach, that's your resume, wherever they doing on the field, right? So I'm going to go watch his players, see how they play. Oh, okay. He teaching. I seen that drill on YouTube he was doing. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. That's how. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, why not go learn? People got egos. That's what the thing is. People don't want to learn. People think they know it all. You don't know it all. And I know I would never know it all. So I'm going to always want to learn from those guys that I look up to. And I don't want to learn from everybody, Marcus. That's just to be 100. Because I don't think everybody knows what they doing. You know what I mean? This is how I look at football, man. I got a 6-year-old daughter, and you got a kid too, right? If they take 6 months of their life and just study a playbook and then try to go tell somebody else how to do it, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to do that once over time, right? So teaching scheme to me is the easiest part of football. That's the easiest part because at first you want to make it simple as possible. These kids can play fast, right? But teaching kids how to make plays, teaching kids how to be in positions that you didn't be in before, and how to make those plays when it's 100,000 people out there saying you suck. You know what I mean? Or boo, whatever. How do you make that kid be successful in those moments? That's what get me going, right? And that's what I'm all about. I want these kids to be successful in moments that when it's not supposed to be successful for you, when you are against the wall, when you're back against the wall, because at the end of the day, that's what the NFL looking for. They looking for the guy. What you think that combine for? It's not to build you up and tell you how great it is. No, it's to poke holes in your game so we can give you less money, and only the strongs will survive. And I was one of them that didn't survive. I could have probably went higher, but man, I was tired. You know what I mean? I was like, it was just the truth. You know what I mean? And now I look back like, man, you can't be right. You know what I mean. But the process was long. But you know what I mean. But they want the process to long. They want to break you down. That's the whole objective of it. You know what I mean. So you have to stand tall, man. You got to stand tall and put everything into it. So I think like you just got to keep going and developing these kids and developing yourself and using it. And don't be having an ego and think you know it all. Go get help. Go get help. It's
Yeah.
okay to get help, bro. Ask questions. It's okay.
Yeah, and I would challenge every single person who's listening to this podcast, whether you are the athlete or you have an athlete, to learn a learn a concept in its entirety. And I think those are the players that I've been around, and you kind of just preached on it, that have gone from good to great or made huge strides, is when they started asking them the question, not just what's my job, but like, why is it my job, and how do I
Right.
fit into
Right.
this entire scheme of things? And I think that's when I made my biggest jump in development, when I wasn't just so focused on this is my job. And I mean, as a quarterback, you can't really do this, but this is my job. I don't care what else is going on. I have blinders on. But then I kind of took the blinders off and said, okay, well, why is the offensive coordinator calling this play? What is he trying to attack? What scheme? What part of the field why is he calling it in this situation? And kind of understanding that. And then even, I mean, shout out to Keyshawn Johnson, was my receiver at Fresno State. He actually just won a Grey Cup championship this past year. But he was one of the guys that always challenged me as a quarterback, to where if he saw the roll down safety and he knew it was cover three and he was running a bang 8 on the outside, he knew to set it up out the corner a little bit more outside, because he knew he was getting the ball. And if he didn't get the ball, he'd come to me and said, the safety rolled down, it's cover three, it's present. Why aren't you throwing me the ball? You know? And it's like, man, when a receiver comes at you with that kind of knowledge as a quarterback, it's not just them having an ego or an attitude like, oh, boo-hoo, I'm not getting the ball. Like, he actually understands the game. He understands the coverage. And I can guarantee you a quarterback is going to be a lot more receptive to listen to you if you're like, man, like, damn, he's right. I missed the read, bro. Like, he knows exactly what he's talking about. Or if it's cover two, he bend it, he snapped it off. He knows he's wide open in the middle of the field. So I think just understanding the flow. And for you, I mean, like, what are some obviously we never expect athletes to fail, but there are struggles that an incoming freshman, let's say, what are some expectations that you as a coach, as a Division I coach at Idaho, you're almost expecting incoming freshmen to struggle with this?
Well, I say the first thing is the physicality of the game, right? That's you know what I mean, because at the end of the day, you're going to have some freshmen pick up the playbook. You're going to have some that don't. You might have some that struggle here. Might have some. It matter what the background of football he come from, right? The high school, junior high, pep, you know what I mean, pee-wee, matter what background of football he got to. But I think the physicality is the hardest part and the speed of the game is the hardest part for a freshman. You know what I mean? Because how much you wearing when you come in? Are you 175? Nah, you ain't gonna make it, big boy. You have no shot. It don't matter how smart you is, it don't matter how good you is, and press it don't matter how. It don't matter. You ain't gonna make it, because soon they get in 3x1 and upset, and they do inside zone your way, or they do toss your way. Well, guess what? You got to show up in that run game, and that 175 ain't gonna work at no level. You can be at Division III, and the AIA is not gonna work, big dog. So you know what I mean. So I think the physicality for me, I think, is the main thing. So like for me, when I recruit, I look for kind of, hey man, I want you to, you could be playing your senior year at 175. Now if you were coming in December. Now your senior year, I want you to been playing at least 180, 185. For now, from January, you got 9 months with us before the season starts. Now I can put you 20 pounds, 20. You know what I mean? Get you right. You know what I mean? Get you to 195 somewhere. Now if you coming in the summer and you playing your senior, you could be 170. You could be 175 because you still got time to eat. You know what I mean? Hopefully you got a stable family, a stable household where you can eat. You know, get some work at your high school for free, you know what I mean, so you can still gain some weight, you know what I mean. But physicality and weight is big, man, you know what I mean, because at the end of the day, it get real at that corner position, you know what I mean. I know everybody think we just cover all day and look pretty and do the little celebrations, but at the end of the day, you got when they go upset or unbalanced, you got to show up, you know what I mean. So you know, people forget about those, you know what I mean. So and I look for corners that can do that, you know what I mean. So for me, you definitely got to be physical, you know what I mean. And I think that's the hardest thing, the weight and being physical and the speed of the game, because now you went from what high school you at? Did you play 2A, 1A? Now this ain't 2A, 1A ball no more, you know what I mean. This is Division I football, so you know what I mean. It's the speed of the game and physicality for me would be the hardest thing I think and expect for a freshman to pick up and really adapt, you know what I mean. What's crazy, we had a true freshman this year that kind of did that, you know what I mean. He got freshman All-American, but he also came in at 6'2", 195. You know what I mean. He didn't come in. He didn't come in at 6'2", 170. He came in 6'2", 195 day one. You know what I mean? So he was already. So now for that, like, so all right, he got the body. Now is he physical now? Right, and he was, you know what I mean, and sometimes he wasn't, right. But that's my job to get him there, right. And over over the time of the season, he did, you know what I mean. He got an award for it, so you know what I mean. Congratulations to him. But it definitely got to be, physicality to me.
Yeah, no, and I think that's such a huge thing. So I remember having a conversation going into my senior year, talking with Derek Carr, and I remember him just talking to me and saying, "Hey, your best ability is your availability," and that kind of stuck out to me. I'm like, where he was like, "Hey, if you could get an extra yard, but you're going to get absolutely smoked," he's like, "Dude, slide, like get down." Yeah. He's like, "You're not helping anyone by it's 3rd and 4, and then versus 3rd and 5, but you just took a lick." And you know, defensive backs and defensive guys, when they see a quarterback, they're like, they get a little extra, and that's just something that I know. So, oh, they're coming a little extra harder when they see the quarterback.
For you, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I think just that's such a big thing. Obviously, the physicality, the speed of play, being able to just implement yourself right away. But not even that. I mean, just the durability. I mean, can your body? I know, Coach Evan, when we were at Oregon State, he used to tell us, it's like, hey, this is the only sport where it's literally you're getting into a train wreck or car accident every single Saturday. Yeah, every play you're getting in a car accident. You're voluntarily, I'm going to go get in a car accident today, and you're going to feel it the next day when you wake up. And he would always tell us, do you want to be a Prius or do you want to be a big old Ford truck? And it's like that's where it comes into is, hey, are you 6'2", 195 or are you 6'2", 170? And after game 3 or 4, you're going to be hurting and your body's going to shut down. You're not going to be able to handle that. So kind of talk about just the mindset of the league, the mindset of high Division I football, of how important just the recovery kind of aspect is of everything.
Like they say in the league, you can't make the team in you can't make the club in the tub, man. You know what I mean? So if you dealing with injuries and those things, you better learn how to take care of your body. You see the things like on Twitter and on ESPN, LeBron James pays $2 million to take care of his body a year. You wonder why he's 48 out there playing basketball. You wonder in the NBA. You wonder why, because look at the investment he put into his body, right? Because at the end of the day, we talking about football, man. You talking about every Saturday. It's a crash every day at practice when you put them pads on, right? Because you going through one-on-ones and all that. Like it's a game where you can literally die. We didn't see people lose ability to walk. You know what I mean? Remember the Harmon kid, whatever his name for the Bills, he died. He literally died on the field and they brought him back. You know what I mean? This not a game where you this not a game where you BS, right? That's why I tell my kids, like, you better go hard every play because it's somebody out there trying to put you in the dirt. You know what I mean? You better get him before you don't be the hammer. I mean, you better be the hammer. You don't want to be the nail. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you 60 plays out there, you build your body up all these months. Really go play 30 minutes of football, right? 6 seconds a game. I mean 6 seconds a snap, right? But you done did all this for months. All this lift, dying in the morning, right? Because it's really a dangerous sport and you really got to build your body up. We play 12 games. 12 games, man, that's a lot. That's a lot of hitting heads, clashing, right? It's the Galileo sport. So I think the recovery and taking care of your body is big. And like for me, it's mandatory to hit the cold tub in my room, especially in camp. You gonna hit it every day, right? And I got that from the NFL, CFL, right? People that I looked up to or coaches that I admired, and they made us do that. And I understand why, right? So I'm gonna put that into my program or into what I'm doing, right? Because I believe in that, and it made me better. It made me shake back, right? I ain't gonna never do something that ain't work for me. You know what I mean? If it ain't work for me, I'm gonna try to see if it worked for you. But if it don't, yeah, I knew this didn't work because I knew I ain't believe in this. You know, at the beginning, you know what I mean? So I believe taking stuff away that I seen and put it in to what I'm doing, and that's recovery, whatever, right? So I'm all about recovery because at the end of the day, your availability is your best ability. If you ain't suiting up, you worthless, right? We call it steak eaters. You just come into the hotel to eat steak, man. You just on the trip to eat steak. You're a steak eater. That's all you here for. You eating steak. You ain't doing that. You always hurt. You feel me? Why you always hurt? But, that also comes with what are you doing outside the field? You know what I mean? Like, people don't understand, like, what you put into your body really gonna pays a toll. Like, you got to understand who you is as a person and what your body is. Everybody's body different, right? But the stuff that you put in your body is detrimental. And if you want to be all these top athletes, right? How do they get there, right? And the first thing I promise they would say is, I take care of my body, right? And everybody different. Everybody can eat. Some people, bro, can eat whatever. Like I said, John Joseph used to eat cheeseburger. Well, guess what? I'm not John Joseph, so I can't eat cheeseburgers every day. You know what I mean? Yeah. God, he ran 4.3. Well, God truly blessed him. Yeah. God, you blessed me too, but not in that area. Yeah. Not in that area. I gotta go in this area. You know what I mean? So you just gotta understand who you is as an athlete and what your body is, and take care of your body, man. It's huge. It's very huge.
Yeah. No, and I mean, just the mental fortitude that it takes. I think that's something that kind of goes underappreciated a lot of times that people don't really realize. Like, for athletes, say you have 22 guys playing on the field, right? You got your offense and your defense. I would bet that only 2 or 3 of them on game 1 of the season feel 100%. Everyone's probably dealing with something. Yeah, someone has a hip, a toe, a knee, a shoulder. Everyone has something that's going on with them. So being able to kind of just mentally push through that is such just an understated thing that people don't realize a lot of times, especially after fall camp. I mean, you're going 30 days straight of just banging into each other, getting ready for season, and there's always dinks and things on your body. And for you, I mean, as a coach at the University of Idaho and stepping on campus, like, what are some like measuring sticks, or like what are you looking for in athletes when you guys are going on those visits and they could play ball already? Like, what are you guys looking for beyond football?
So, like, I just talk about, like, the corners. I wouldn't talk about nobody else's position because they ain't what type of guy I am. But for me, what I'm looking for, like, outside of football, like, what is your makeup, man? What is your makeup? You know what I mean? Because I think what people don't understand, like, yeah, you athletic, yeah, everybody look for that. But the difference is what people don't understand in the NFL and at that level is the makeup of the person and the makeup of the DB, right? Who are you? What is your why? What makes you tick? Who you do it for, who sacrificed for you, what have you sacrificed, right? Those are the questions I'm looking for when I go in those questions. Yeah, I wouldn't be here if you weren't athletic, duh, you know what I mean? So, yeah, you got the measurable. Yeah, I want you to be long, fast, of course. But I also want, what is your makeup? Because I know what my makeup, and I know what, if you go in those rooms, in those offices, in those meeting rooms, in those locker rooms, you better have that makeup. Because it's going to be people that are going to tick you off. There's gonna be people that are gonna mess over you, and you gotta be a professional. You gotta swallow your ego. You gotta do all this. So what are you doing this for? Because at the end of the day, this is gonna be the hardest you ever went through. The hardest you ever went through. And it's not the football part. It's the off the football part. It's the other things. It's the women. It's the money. It's the lifestyle. It's the coaches. It's the GM. It's the owner. It's the fans. It's everything else. So do you have the makeup to keep this all in the box and be successful? See, people just look at these NFL athletes that's just going out there making all this money just as robots and all, but them guys go through a lot. People got families, kids, cousins, uncles, and you trying to provide for everybody. You the man, you the household, you this, you that, right? So you gotta have that makeup. How do you tick? What make you go, right? I already know you athlete, but what makes you go? Is it your mama? Is it the situation? Your daddy in jail? What, you got both parents? What is it? Who are you? What type of kid are you? What you like to do? You like to play the game, smoke weed? What are you doing? What are you doing this for? Are you an alcoholic? Are you this? What are you beat women? What it is? What is it in you? What it is in you that nobody knows, right? And I'm gonna get it out you because you gonna tell me, because I'm gonna watch you, right? And I know it because I done seen the people, right? I done been it before, right? I done it before, right? So I know if you put this in your body, I know how your body gonna look. You smoke weed, I know your arms gonna be frail. You don't want to tackle now. You're lazy now, right? Because I done did that before, right? You know what I mean? So I know who you can be, and I done seen it. So you know what I mean? Like, so I know, I need to know who you are. And I'm not, and one thing about me, I'm not just gonna ask it. You gonna tell me, because I'm gonna pay attention. And when I'm talking to you, I'm gonna talk to you. If you talk to anybody I recruited, don't nobody out recruit me, Marcus. You can't out recruit me, because I'm gonna talk to that kid like he's my kid. Every other day he getting text me. I'm calling. What's happening, baby? What's happening? You know how I talk. What's happening, baby? You good over there, man? What you on there doing, right? I'm gonna build that relationship with you before you can tell me everything. If I gotta, and I tell the parents this, the kids this, when I recruit you and you come play for me, it's one day I'm gonna be your daddy. If I gotta be your daddy, if I gotta be your father figure, your brother, your cousin, your best friend, your sister, whatever I gotta be that day, that's what to get you going. I'm gonna be it. I'm gonna be your why, right? I'm gonna be the reason why you go. Because I didn't studied you and I didn't watched you and I didn't learn you to see why you go. Now I'm gonna be that every day to make sure you go. And that's the difference for me and a lot of folks. Right? It's not the ego, it's not the logo, it's not none of that for me. It's about getting these kids to go. And I'm gonna find the reason why to make you go. You know what I mean? So for me, it's all about the makeup, who the person is. What is your makeup as a DB? Are you a DB that like get picks? Are you physical? You know what I mean? This type of that's what everybody looking for. That's what everybody want. Everybody want the 6'2" dude that's 4'3" that won't do all that. Of course. We looking for him at Idaho too. Alabama looking for him, Ohio State, LSU, everybody looking for him. But see, I'm looking for him. But you could be a 5-star. You could be a 5, got all that. But if you don't got that makeup, Coach TD ain't calling you, baby. Because you ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it. I'm not building kids to go get NIL money. I'm building for the NFL. I want NFL mindset type of kids. Because those the kids I can go to war with. I know they're gonna give me everything, right? Because this is everything for them. This is everything. So I don't go look for the normal kids that all these other coaches, nah, because I'm different, right? I was a different type of kid. I was a different type of person. I'm still a different type of person, right? So I go look for, and we talk about all the time, like when I do my little speeches in Idaho with in front of our fans, stuff like, I'm looking for me. I'm looking for me. You gotta look like me, talk like me, act like me. I'm looking for him. And because I know me, that's me, they in the league. You know what I mean? Yeah, I wasn't all pro 10, 12 years, but they were, and I was just like them. You know what I mean? I just, whatever happened, it didn't happen. God, but thank you, God. I'm truly blessed for what happened. You know what I mean? But it's like you gotta understand your role, you gotta understand your path, and I understand mine. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what I'm looking for, Marcus. That's what I'm looking. I'm looking for makeup.
Yeah, no, I mean, just the makeup of athletes. And I mean, man, there's been just so much, I mean, just gold and information that's kind of been shared this. And just a couple more questions and we'll be able to wrap up here. But I mean, just in your opinion, everything you've kind of talked about, I mean, like, how does it's always kind of a slippery slope. And honestly, truthfully, I mean, I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but like I was raised as like, hey, you need to be humble. You need to be this, like, don't talk about it. Like, let other people talk for you. And I'm super grateful that I was raised that way, but I'm almost a little bit jealous of some guys that played with like that cutthroat kind of like,
Right.
I'm here to take your soul kind of like mentality, you know, to
Right.
where it's
Right.
like, I want to instill that in my kids. Like, hey, you're going to be overly confident in your abilities because you've prepared your tail off. Like, you've done everything possible, that now it's showtime. Like, there's nothing to be scared about.
Showtime.
There's nothing, like, play free, go out there and have fun, and kind of talk about that. Because I think cornerback, like DB, is such a unique position to where how can an athlete balance confidence versus delusion?
Man, what's crazy? It got to be who you are though, right? It can't be false confidence. I tell my kids the confidence come from the work, man. The work. It comes from who you are. It gotta be who you are. Marcus, you know me. I am confident in everything I do. You can't tell me I can't do it. I suck at golf. But we having a conversation about golf, you gonna think I'm the best golfer since Tiger Woods. You feel me saying? Because I'm confident in who I am. I'm confident in what I do. It becomes who I am, right? And that's who you gotta be as an athlete, right? Especially at that position. When you make a mistake, the whole world see it. Strike the band. Nah, 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 nah. Everybody dance. Yeah, you know what I mean? When you make a mistake, when a D line make a mistake, it might just be 10 yards or a gain of 5, whatever. But when a corner make a mistake, everybody in the universe sees that. You know what I mean? So how do you overcome that? And then once you make, like you said, you didn't play quarterback. You didn't seen them guys where you did. Oh, we scored on him. Oh, let's keep going at him, coach. Let's just keep going over there. You know, he didn't hit him on a slant, a dig, a comeback, two more fades, a post. You feel me? Dig and go. Like, you gonna keep going at him. You know what I mean? So we done all had that bad game. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have bad games. So how do you come back? How do you still have that confidence? Because it gotta be you. It gotta be instilled in you. The confidence gotta be instilled in it. And where I think it come from me, man, was just playing with the older kids and the older guys in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? In the hood. Like they knew they wasn't going no NFL, NBA or nothing. But you couldn't tell them boy nothing out there talking straight cash money. You feel me? And it made them play better, right? Because now when you talk cash money, you gotta bag it up, right? And as a young guy, I learned that at a early age. Like, man, I'm just about to talk that cash because now when I talk cash, I play better because now I gotta stand up. And I'm a stand up type of guy. I don't never want to say something I ain't gonna do. You know what I mean? You tell a girl you're gonna take her to the movies, you don't take her to the movies, she gonna move on to the next guy, right? So you never want to do something you never want to say something you ain't gonna do, right? And that's never good for you, right? So I never wanted to be that guy. So it's like, man, my confidence, and I tell kids now, man, it gotta be you. You gotta be one of the. We playing tic tac toe. We playing whatever we doing. You playing with your kid. You got a girlfriend. You at the bowling alley. You can't lose. Because you put that in your mindset, I can lose. I can be a loser. I don't want to lose. And yeah, I done lost a lot of games, a lot of situations. But in my mind, when I'm going there and in a situation when the game start, I am not losing. I'm the best out here. It don't matter who you is. You can be MJ. What's up, MJ? Just light some time up, boy. Your blood we bleed the same blood, boy. Yeah, I got your shoes on just like you got them on, boy. You know what I mean? So you just gotta believe, and I think it's come with the work because I put the work in. Like even with this coaching, like I'm learning. I only been in. There'll be my third year, but still to today, Corey Raymond, I think is the best DB coach ever, right? But put Corey Raymond in the room with me. All right, I'm gonna show you your head, Corey. I feel like I'm the best now. Okay, who you is? You feel me? Saying? Because I put the work in, right? And there's no disrespect to nobody. It's just you gotta be able to have that confidence where you put the work in, but this not false confidence. It gotta come from the work, right? And the work gonna show progress. It's gonna show results, and mine show results. And everything I do, I have results because I want to be the best at everything.
Yeah, no, that's huge, bro. And I think kind of an important thing that you touched on earlier to kind of for the final question is that to kind of understand too is that most players won't play in the NFL. I mean, but every
Right.
player will need life skills beyond football. And like you said, and when you get to that NFL level, a lot of times you're responsible for a ton of things that are completely out of your control, but you're overseeing a lot of things. And that's kind of starting to trickle down into college
The college
football with
game. Yep.
NIL and with money. And now guys are even younger. I mean, a rookie in the NFL was technically young to handle
Right.
all those things, but now it's a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior in college that's kind of trickling down to the responsibility outside of the game is becoming so much more. And kind of just like my final question for you, kind of prefacing that would just be like, what skills, I mean, on and off the field, should young defensive backs be investing in right now?
The ability to say no. That's the hardest thing, Marcus. I couldn't do that when I was 23, 24. So I know how hard it is for a 17-year-old who just moved out of his mama house. You know what I mean? The ability to say no. You have to say no. Because one thing about this money that you think you got, and this NIL, especially with NIL, that's month to month. So you got to perform month to month. It ain't like the league where it guarantee you gonna get this. You know what I mean? So you also got an agent who taking 10%, which is crazy. You know what I mean? So the ability to say no, because these kids, yeah, you getting 100,000, but a 17-year-old think that's $1 million these days. My guy, after you pay that agent, your mama, your cousin, your daddy, your sister, that 100,000 is 10,000 now. And I promise you gonna go buy you some Louis. That 2,500. You gonna get you a bag. So now that 10, really 5, right? Now you want your car down payment 25. Now you don't got nothing. Now you back to square one. Then you go out there in the game and you ain't perform. So get what? Now you in the transfer portal because you ain't got no action no more, right? Learn how to say no, because at the end of the day, football will end, right? The game, the age, father time will come one day. Either it's injuries or what you're doing offside the field, whatever. It's one day that football will end for you, and that money that you have, man, is not gonna last forever, right? Even now, unless you one of these quarterbacks and you getting 4 million, 5 million, all right, your reality a little different. You know what I mean? You can do a little messing off and still save some money. You a little different. This conversation is not for you. You know what I mean? But you're a 1%er, just like the NFL, right? Ain't everybody ain't getting that 4%. So if you not getting that 4 to 5 million, which that's kind of changing, that's like changing money for some folks, right? So if you're not getting that, man, say no. Say no. Tell mama, don't give mama money, right? Don't give her the money. Go pay the bill. If she say she need money to go pay the bill, don't give her the money. Go pay it. If daddy, same for daddy, same for brother, the same way. If mama need a car, don't give her the money. Go buy the car, right? You gotta learn how to say no, manage your money, because at the end of the day, your peace and your mental is the most important thing. And I promise you, if you ever was up and you lose it, you're gonna need a strong mental to get back up, right? You know what I mean. Everybody not built like that, right? So say no, man. Say no. Learn how to say no. Save your car. What Marshall Lynn say? Save your chicken, man. Save your chicken. You know what I mean? Because now these kids getting money. Like, now, 5 years ago, this question would probably was different, right? But now I'm seeing with these college kids, it's different. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, man, these parents, Marcus, these parents it's not the kids, man. It don't be the kids all the time, man. It's the parents. You know what I mean? So you got to learn how to say no as an athlete, because at the end of the day, that's your money. You the one going out there and putting the work in. You the one going out there. And ain't nothing, when you done with college, and it's hard to get a job once life over. You know what I mean? You better have some money to keep you over, to keep you pushing through, you know what I mean? And some kids get caught up with this lifestyle and this Instagram stuff. All right, it's real. It's a real world out there. You know what I mean? So please save your money, make smart decisions with your bread, because there's a lot of vouchers, however you say it, coming for y'all, these young college athletes, because you got older women coming at kids, man. My kid, man, I done seen DMs from my kids from older women, and we at the state of Idaho, like, come on, man. So I can imagine if we at Alabama or Washington or somewhere, LSU, what they DMs might be looking at, and it's just like these older women, you know what I mean? But You a figure. You feel me? You 19, 20. You're a grown man though. You still grown. You on your own. You paying bills. You got car note. You got rent. You know what I mean? You got money in your pocket. You're a figure, right? And everybody want money. You know what I mean? And it's a different world than when we played, Marcus. It's a totally different world. You know what I mean? So I tell these kids, man, the best advice for me, and I always say I feel like I tell kids the truth and the real. Like it's a lot of things I can tell you, but man, save your money. Say no. Learn to how to say no. That's one of that's something nobody really talk about, man. But you got to talk about that with these kids because when you blow it, yeah, it's hard. You ain't gonna play college football. Nothing pay like football. And I learned that a long time ago. That's why I'm coaching now. Don't nothing pay like football. You hear me? Nothing pays like football. You feel me?
Yeah,
Well,
no,
sports
I
in
mean,
general. You know what
definitely,
I mean?
just yeah,
Yeah,
no,
sports
for
in
sure. I mean,
general.
just the college football, I mean, just college in general. I mean, it's changed more in the last 5 years than it has in the last
Right.
50. So, I mean, everything's changing. It's changing day to day. But I mean, I mean, that's great advice. I mean, just the power of saying no, being able to kind of understand, like, hey, this is what you built, this is what you're working towards, and kind of understanding and being in that thing. And I definitely appreciate it, brother. I know we've been teammates years ago, but
Oh
I
yes,
feel like the
sir.
friendship never died, and I definitely
Never. I
appreciate
ain't
it.
gonna never
And
change, man. I know you ain't. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
No, no doubt, bro. So I definitely appreciate you. I mean, you're definitely, I mean, you're proof that experience matters. I mean, but I mean, humility, adaptability, and teaching matter just as much. And I definitely appreciate you sharing that perspective as a coach who's, I mean, truly been there. I mean, not a lot of coaches could say that. So I definitely appreciate you, brother, and thank you for the time.
Man, I appreciate you for having me, man. I know it took us a little minute to get here, you know what I mean? But man, you know what I mean? I appreciate, you know what I mean, if you have me on. I mean, hopefully these kids hear this and man and understand like it's hard out here, you know what I mean? But you got a chance to be successful. It's a lot of ways to be successful in this world, and you just got to believe in yourself when nobody else believe in you. And you would do that. That's the first step. You know what I mean? That's the first step. Just belief. You know what I mean? You have to believe in yourself. And one thing about Coach TD, I believe, man. I believe, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, coach, I appreciate you, brother.
Yes,
University of
sir.
Idaho. Until next time, this Athlete Country Club. Appreciate
Yep.
you
Yes,
guys.
sir.